Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. And I really hope you have a nice and safe long weekend. And we will continue to talk about the YAR models in this lecture. Hopefully, we can finish the YAR model in this week, and then we can move to the relational model in the coming week. As we can see in the spreadsheet for the course schedule, we have released Examiner 1 to students already. You can access the Examiner 1 by clicking this link. So the questions is prepared in one single PDF document. You can download the questions by clicking this link here, so it will be downloaded. And we have 7 questions prepared for the students, and we also have the distribution of the points for each of the questions. Some questions may have several sub-questions, as we can see here. So please do the question one by one and independently. And all the answers should be uploaded in a single PDF document to Canvas. So depending on your availability, someone prefer to work on papers and then they can take some photos. If so, please make sure all the answers should be transformed into a PDF document. You can take photos and then you can just transform the photos into PDFs, or you can just scan your answers on your papers and then they will be transformed into a PDF. And someone else may prefer to work with like Office Word or some other softwares, and they may provide the function to transform the answers into PDF directly. It will be much better. So no matter what kind of choice you prefer, please make sure all the answers should be transformed into a PDF document to be uploaded to Canvas. And we have a deadline will be the September the 25th. It will be the Friday midnight. And the deadline is hard, so we have no extensions. All the needed submissions will not be accepted. So I also need to remind the students, all the emailed answers or solutions will not be accepted, no matter to me or to the TAs. Please submit the answers to the Canvas in a PDF document. No later submission will be accepted, and no email submission will be accepted neither. Okay, so this is for the homework 1. And after the TA grading the homework, we will also release the answers to the students as well, so they can check back whether they are correct or not and why they are like for some points deducted. And we will talk about this later for the grading policies. We also need to talk about the project. I have sent out 2 emails in the last week. We create a spreadsheet for students to looking for their teammates. We can see most of the students have found their teammates already, but we still have some of the students they are still looking for their teammates. About 30 students as shown here. So this is a reminder. If you are still looking for some teammates, please be active. Reach out to other students actively, and don't wait. Because if you are active, then you can find your teammates earlier. If you still cannot find teammates, maybe after 1 more week, then you can contact the TA and he will do the random assignments of the teammates for you. And we will combine the students into groups. Majority will be in the 3-member teams. Because we have 100 students enrolled in the course, so there will be about 1 team with 2 members only. So please do contact the others as early as possible so you can find your team. According to my previous experiences, it is suggested to find someone who you know, right? I mean, if you know your friends or other classmates you have ever do the project together before, then you can contact each other and you can form a new team for the project as well. Because if you know the person, then it will be easier for you to communicate with each other for the project. It will be much greater. And according to the previous years, someone preferred to do the project with some other courses based on the same topic. For example, some students may also taking the Python, the programming course, and they will ask me before if they can do a project as a joint project with Python course. My answer is yes, you can do so if you think it is better for you, and you can just integrate the knowledge you learn from both the Python course as well as the database course together to work on a great project. So it's okay for me. You may also need to check with your Python course instructor to see if it is okay for him or her or not. So please be active in reaching out the other team members as soon as possible. Okay, let's come back to the slides. So in the last week, we have covered lots of topics already. So for the ER models, this section, we have introduced the ER model motivations, why we need to learn the ER models, as well as the history of the ER model, who proposed the ER model, and which paper proposed these ER models. We will cover basic information for the entity and attributes. We introduce how to represent entity and attributes in the ER model. We can use a rectangle to denote entity. We can use this oval to represent an attribute. We also introduce the relationships in the ER model. We can use this diamond to represent the relationships. We introduce how to define relationships based on the set product we learned from the discrete mathematics. And we also introduce the Kalininal constraint on relationships. It can be many-to-many, one-to-many, as well as one-to-one. So a reminder here, whenever you draw a relationship in ER model, please ask yourself what is the Kalininal constraint on this relationship. We will cover the multiple relationships between the same pair of the entities. If I remember correctly, we have an example. It is about the employees as well as the departments. So generally, the employees can work in some departments, and some of the employees can also be the manager of the department. So we can have different relationships connecting the same pairs of entities. We also introduce this multi-way relationship. If you still remember, we have two examples. One example is the person buy a product from a store on specific date. Another example is that a star sign a contract with a studio on a specific movie, right? We have two examples on this. And we also introduce this conversion into binary ones as well. And I received emails on this conversion. I will clarify this again in this lecture as well. So besides this, we also introduce the relationships which can be connected to one single type of entities. We have examples that the employee can supervise the employees as an advisor, right? So we can connect the employees with a relationship like the reports to, and one side will be the manager or the supervisor, the other side will be the subordinates. This is what we learned from the last week. And in this week, we'll finish the ER model, and we have several important topics to be introduced. The first one will be the subclass. And we will also talk about some constraints in the ER model. We have mentioned some constraints on the relationships, like the Kalininal constraint. Here we will further introduce several important constraints which cover the keys, the referential integrated constraint, as well as the work entity set. So these three are very important concepts we will cover in this week, these lectures. And we will also talk about some design principles. The first one will be faithful in your ER model design, and we should also avoid some redundancy in the ER model design. The third one will be don't overuse the work entity set. We'll mention them one by one in the lecture.